going on, everybody? What's going on? First and foremost, like always, all praises be to the Most High, the I am that I am. In Exodus chapter 3, like always, man, we give all praises to the Most High at our highest and our lowest. You know, people shouldn't even tell when you at your lowest because you so humble. You know, you so humble at your highest and your lowest, they can't tell the difference. You know, Yeah, man, it's a beautiful day. A beautiful day. It's sunny. I'm blessed to see another one. We got shelter, we got clothes, we got everything we need in this wicked world. I'm just um, coming before y'all with a little short word that was on my spirit. I'm gonna read this real quick, right? This is Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 10. Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 10. When thou comest nigh unto a city to fight against it, then proclaim peace unto it. And it shall be, if it make the answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be, that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. um, as you know, I do ascribe to the information or the history of being the Hebrews, black people being the true Hebrews of the Bible. I know that's a very controversial and popular topic nowadays, but it is what it is. Do your own research, you know, uh, look and research the history of the Bible. All you Christians who, you say you believe in the Bible, even Muslims, you say you believe in the Bible, go into the history. The history is the main thing that will open your eyes and take the veil off, take the scales off your eyes. Um, a lot of the stuff that the European nations, what we hate them for, I'm not saying it all. A lot of stuff that they've done to us, we've already done to them. The Most High commanded us to do it to them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying all that weird, crazy stuff, and a lot of this stuff is just inhumane. But a lot of stuff that we did to them, they did to us, and of course, we did it to them because we were commanded to do it to them, because a lot of them were serving other gods for sure, but uh, the gods of their forefathers. The only difference is we're not in touch with the gods of our forefathers at this point. Um, but I'll say this, right? Let me read this one more time. Um, Uh, and if it will make no peace with thee, but will make war. Hold on, where I'm at. Okay, yeah. And it shall be, if it make the answer of peace and open unto thee, then it shall be that all the people that is found therein shall be tributaries unto thee, and they shall serve thee. The hardest part. You know how you make a slave a slave? The easiest way to make a slave, to make them cooperate with their slavery, you don't tell them that they're a slave. In fact, you make them believe that they're not a slave. Man, I was just thinking about that. They did it so strategically. It was a hell of a plan. Imagine you got a field full of Negroes who keep rebelling. They got this spirit of freedom that they long for. They singing about it. They're imagine it. Man, a person would take death gladly. Look at Nat Turner. Nat Turner probably was smiling to be able to do what he did. You know, um, a person would take death, especially a man. A man will die for his family, man, for his nation. So what they did was, a lot of these revolts that was going on in America, which they don't tell us about in history, because we would look at those as like our heroes and kind of, take on that spirit. So a lot of us, I mean, what they did was, after, when you look at the Willie Lynch letter and all these things like that, it was bad business, man. It was bad business. And a lot of people say, oh, it's money. They wanted to, yeah, they wanted to build the world economy and all that on the backs of us. But at the same time, money is printed. It's printed. They're not trying to get rich off of something they printed. The whole plan is to rule over us, to rule over us, to make tributaries of us, right? So they had to make us believe that we weren't slaves so we can participate in our own demise. Because when I just read, right, when they took down the city, when we went to go take down the city, right, we will offer peace. Oh, you don't want peace? Okay. The peace deal was, we're not going to destroy your city. You're going to pay taxes and pay tribute to us. So Burkina Faso, Mali, you're going to pay taxes to French or France. I'm sorry, not the French or France, you know, um, or Portugal or Great Britain. That's the way it works, man. We the big dogs now, so y'all gonna pay us money, or you're gonna pay us resources, or you're gonna pay us free labor. That's the way it worked, man. So that's what you had going on, man. You see all the African countries, all the countries that our people were sent to, like Haiti, South America, places like that. What do? They have to pay the they got to pay the taxes, man. But all African countries, look at them, look at them. All the sub-Saharan African countries pay tribute to the European nations, but they'll put a black face on it. They'll put a black face on it. Why? Because they don't want you to know that you're a slave. So now your children's children, have to work to pay these countries for their children's children to prosper. So when you see Burkina Faso or Mali rebelling and kicking the French out, that's powerful. That's powerful. Meanwhile, our people, we don't even want to connect the dots. How can you read the Bible and not be able to connect the dots, man? You got people talking about, oh, that's there are fighters over here in America. That's them over there. You fool, man. You fool. You don't even know. You don't even know what the Most High is doing in this. You don't even know. But they're gonna be going to war. They're gonna be going to war, and they're gonna be distracted while the Most High is sifting us from amongst the nations. A lot of us, the agenda is so powerful. They can throw something out there, throw a bone at us to have us distracted and have us arguing. Like, oh, we the indigenous people, man. You don't even know the indigenous people came there at some point too. We all came from these lands, man. At some point, so you're just arguing uh, a never-ending argument. You know, oh, we the indigenous people. We're not African. Okay, so did the indigenous people come from over those lands at one point in time? Look at their customs. Look at their traditions. How they play the drums. How they use the bow and arrow, the spears. Can you connect that culture back to Africa? So they'll have one of the little agents that look like us and come start some commotion and have us distracted over here while they moving over there. So like I said, man, we don't even know that we slaves, and that's the biggest the that even today, right? We got all the women podcasts and male podcasts, women versus men podcasts, right? We can't get no type of structure or order in our community or our nation because guess what you do in war? We're prisoners of war. It is what it is. Of course, we have to wake up from it, but we're prisoners of war. Your medical, your education, your religious system is all dictated by the captors. I mean, not the captors who captured you, right? So when you talk about, oh, we can't get no, our biggest thing is men, we can't get no submission from our women, which is true, right? Because what did they do? They came. What do you do when you take a nation down? You kill the men, or you unalive the men. You break, you break the strongest. You break the strongest ones, right? You put the children. You break the women. You break the women. You kill the men. You break the women, and you take the children and you re-educate them, or you educate them in your systems. Now, what we do nowadays. Oh, I went to college. I went to Harvard. So now you're walking around bragging about the system that they made for you because you're a prisoner of war, and you're bragging about their system. Oh, I'm a doctor. Or I'm a lawyer. Or I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. By who? Who gave you the certificate? Who gave you your master's? So that's what happened, man. All of us, you know, and they got it so tricky, man. When you're a high school dropout, you had a world looking at you like you're a failure. But the reason why a lot of young men don't succeed in that system of education, because they know, and something in them telling them it's not for me. You learning how great the indoctrination is, the education. You learning about the system of all their great leaders, George Washington and these great Spaniards and Spanish conquerors and all this. At some point, because I was big into social studies and history. I was more into the history. I wasn't. Young boys is not gonna do something like that. They're not gonna focus on something they're not interested in. So I just wasn't interested. So if we're not interested, we're not gonna prosper in it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we've been tricked. We've been duped. You can't tell even to this day, 2025. We still think that we're equal to these people, and they've tricked us. They've tricked us on the highest level, because we will argue with our own people tooth and nail. We still debating on if we should go Democrat or Republican, and I bet they just sitting back like, man, this is great. I mean, granted, the Most High Spirit is moving. A lot of us is waking up. But man, it's time to come out of her, man. I know I say that on every dang on video. It always come out of her, my people. But it's a mentality too, and it's spiritual. It's spiritually. You have to come out of that, of being a slave, man. The first thing of coming out of being a slave is realizing you are a slave. You are a slave in a slave system. When you're playing Monopoly, who controls the board? The bankers. The banker controls the board, right? He controls the properties, he controls the taxes, he controls all of that. So all you got to do is see who controls that stuff. Follow the money. You know, Monopoly money is fake. It has no worth. So who pro- who who decides its value? You might say the one that's in charge. No, it's us that decide its value because we put the time behind it. We the one that put the blood, sweat, and tears behind it. If everybody was to say right now, you know what, we're not working anymore. We're gonna go back to building our own homes. We're gonna go back to farming. Uh, we're gonna go back to learning and teaching our own children and having our own children at home, not in these hospitals. What can they would have to wage war overnight. They would have to. But since we participate and we tell ourselves, that's what the voting system is, to convince you, it's the illusion of inclusion. It's you're being delusional that you're included in this system. You have equal opportunity as these people. And guess what? It's not just a color thing either, because they look at poor white people as not their people, but they will use that division between us and those poor white people and have us fighting while they do their agendas. So, yeah, man, once you realize you're a slave, then you cannot be a slave anymore, right? But all praises to the Most High, right? That we got this understanding, and we waking up. And once you wake up, each one teach one. And that's what we doing here. This Pilgrims in the Earth. Y'all be blessed. Peace.